Oh my God!
How's that ass feel?
Go get me a beer, bitch!
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, right here. 3 guys.
And Danny DeVito.
And Danny DeVito. Oh, and Caitlin Olsen. Yeah, she does some
Attias.
stuff, too.
Okay,
And
we are all actors, Glenn, Charlie, and myself. They had moderate success, or actually were fairly successful, and I had very little success. The original pilot came out of desperation. I mean, I was working in a restaurant and living in the back of a garage somewhere in West Hollywood, and was accruing incredible amounts of debt, and was sort of at the end of my rope.
Rob didn't live in a garage, by the way. I think that's, he lived in, he lived in the back house of a house. You know, a garage is the Fonzie lived in a garage.
I mean, I like to think of myself as a professional at the time, but I was a professional waiter, and I wasn't very good at it.
It was a very gay restaurant, but I don't know if that was by choice.
What I wanted to be doing was acting, but I just wasn't getting hired.
I was doing actually all right. I was working as an actor, not constantly, but you know, I was working here and there.
I used to be the voice of the independent film channel until they let me go.
Rob basically came to me at the very beginning with 10 pages of an idea of a scene, and then we called Charlie. Rob and I wanted to work with Charlie. The 3 of us had shot a mockumentary prior to this.
I guess I've known Rob since like 99 to 98.
We're just friends that hang out and have been hanging out for many years. Look at this guy, huh? I was cute, I was energetic, I was fun. At first, it was just an exercise. I mean, it was just a writing exercise. After I wrote the first script, I thought, well, this is really funny. Let's sit around and read it. After we did that, we said, well, let's just get a couple of camcorders and shoot it.
No. This is unacceptable. No. This has to stop right now.
I was gonna get in the shower.
Oh, I don't give a shit what you were gonna do. Okay, you can't just lounge around like that.
Why not?
I think I can see your scrotum.
It started as just something funny that we thought we could put together to show our friends and that would make us laugh.
I was laying in bed one night, and I was just thinking of an exchange between 2 people in which one tells another that he's dying of cancer, and the other one's reaction is to get out of the room as fast as possible.
Yeah, sorry.
Did you have a party or something? I mean, you seem like you're a little hungover or something.
No, it's I found out that I might have cancer.
What?
It's just this guy trying to wriggle out of listening to his friend tell him about how he has cancer and what he's going through.
I'm glad we can talk, you know? We can talk, right?
Yeah, I mean, we should talk. We should talk.
It started out like this. I wasn't feeling well.
Oh, did you want to talk right now?
That's the cornerstone of the whole show to me. It shows what kind of people they are without having to explain anything, without having any kind of expository dialogue. You don't even know their names really at this point, but you're watching this guy come over to this guy's house and you're watching this unfold in 2 minutes. And not only do you know who these people are, but you know the tone of the show, you know the world that you're setting up. And we just thought, well, you never see this kind of thing in TV.
The rumor out there is that we made it for $200. Actually, I think it was probably a lot less than that. Really, the only thing we spent money on was the actual tapes themselves. We shot in our apartments, and then we shot guerrilla style out on the streets. It was a blast. I mean, it was a home movie.
The creative problems were not in the script or performances. It was actually just technically how to capture what we were doing.
Get 2 cameras, point them each way, and then, you know, the scene was scripted, but then we would sort of play around with the dialogue and just try and make each other laugh.
Let me get this straight. You girl that Charlie's had a crush on for over a year?
Yeah, but only after he completely blew me off.
Okay, so we're gonna do that again. We're gonna just get naked in the house, smell like vagina, and then take a shower.
There's no FCC, there's no standards and practices, there's no president of the network, there's no president of the studio, there's nobody. It's me. That's it. As far as the last word goes, you know. And talking with Glenn and Charlie, we just decided we want full control over this.
There were so many things that we did right from the beginning that people said you can't do that. You know, we didn't use professional sound. I mean, most of the time we had a boom mic on a stick. A lot of people said, well, you can't shoot 3 cameras at once because you can't light for that. And we thought, well, and our first thought in response to that was, well, first of all, what is lighting?
And network pitch is interesting because, first of all, I had never done it before, which I think was really an asset because I didn't know what to do, but I didn't know what not to do, so I just went and did whatever I wanted.
We all saw it together, and we were all laughing hysterically. Which is rare for a pilot that's sort of shot outside the system.
What is that? Right there, in that region of the foot.
Oh, ew, yeah.
I think we were just surprised by how funny it was. You know, a lot of the times people bring things in and they don't, they're not half as good as the people who bring them in think they are.
I had that on my foot. I had that. Have you been wearing my shoes?
No.
No. See, I've been wearing yours. The Pumas. I haven't been wearing socks.
I don't think we ever choose to do anything outrageous just for outrageousness' sake. Like we don't look to like. Honestly, I don't look to try and push any boundaries.
Dude, we just, you know, I mean, we gotta be safe, dude. People already assume that we're gay.
You know, it had its own tone and point of view, but it was just very low-key and very unself-conscious. Of course, it's big, outrageous comedy, but it just never felt forced to me.
I wanted to lay out exactly what it is that was going to happen if they bought the show. The only way that we'll do it is if I'm the showrunner, the executive producer, Len and Charlie are executive producers, we write the show and we act in the show and we can't change the cast. So I wasn't really sure what anybody's response was going to be, and a couple of networks' responses was, get out.
Yeah, you know, Rob went in, he pitched a show. You know, Glenn and I would just kind of wait to hear how it went, you know, call him afterwards and say, did you it up?
The decision to go forward with it was really helped by the fact that the original pilot was cast extremely well. These guys were really funny.
I think Rob was smart enough to realize that I was pretty much the only reason that the show is getting sold.
The mother part in the mother Michael Bay movie that was promised to me. That's an Academy part.
Just so you know, for the record, you know, this was pretty much all me. I was the one who championed it.
At the end of the day, I'd say me. It was all me.
Originally, we had shot the show on our own,
I thought my place looked like
and then we shot the FX pilot.
I thought my place looked like
Well, the similarities between the original pilot that we did and the FX pilot were completely intentional.
The one thing I remember about the pilot was just how much fun it was. It was just fun to hang out down at the set and watch all these guys interact.
Originally, the story revolved around 3 friends who were actors living in Los Angeles. Now, the fact that they were actors had nothing to do with the story because it was all about how they're just scumbags and they get over on each other. We could take that whole element out of it. We could put scumbags anywhere we wanted to.
Well, there were a few story things that we decided to change. We just didn't want to do in a show in LA. We felt like there were enough shows about struggling actors in LA that were either working, like The Entourage, or hadn't worked in the past.
Rob said, why don't we make it about these guys who run a bar in Philly? And they were like, great, that sounds great.
We can put these guys right in Philadelphia. All we need to do is give them a job that they have lots of time on their hands like actors do, that they have their days free to screw their lives up.
Who wants to do a keg stand?
I think there was something I think they thought was inherent in the self-absorption of actors into the self-absorption of these characters. And I think once Rob moved it to Philadelphia, you realized that people everywhere are self-absorbed.
As soon as they said, we want to take it out of LA, I said, that's great. If that's what's going to take to get on your network, let's do it. Let's put it in Philly and let's make it happen. The transition from making essentially a home movie into the show for FX was trial by fire.
The network said, here you go, we're ordering, what was it, 7 of them? You guys make them. We said, great, who's gonna write them? And they said, you guys gotta write them.
I'd always been an actor, and I'd never been the one making decisions, the one writing. I'd never written anything before the show.
I wrote a lot of hate mail.
Literally the first thing I ever wrote was an episode of the show, and it was on air.
I enjoy the writing process, and I think I'm gonna stick with it.
When I first saw this pilot, I couldn't believe some of the issues they were talking about. Cancer, trannies.
Yeah, there's a in those pants.
Those pants.
You know, it was really sort of wild stuff, but it works.
And they managed to make things funny that really shouldn't be funny. You shouldn't be able to make a really funny show about cancer, and yet it's really funny.
Hey, Dennis.
Charlie has cancer.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The network is known in general for taking chances, doing things that are a little risky,
I'll you for $10.
a little edgier than you'd find certainly on network television.
How you like me now?
Sort of more what you'd find on a pay channel.
A lot of the humor is garnered from real-life situations. There were a couple of circumstances where I was playing basketball and cut off a cutoff shirt.
You cut the sleeves off of all of your T-shirts. What, so you can show off your tats? Those are really original, dude. They're tribal. Oh, they're tribe? I'm sorry, what tribe are you from?
They always do the wrong thing. They always pay the price. You know, they always pay the price for it, and yet they can't help themselves. They do it again and again and again.
They showed that for $200 they could pull it off. We surrounded them with a few people that, you know, had some experience, and we just let them go.
Because we kind of got thrown in, or threw ourselves into it, we didn't have any other choice. It was sink or swim.
It was the first time we'd ever had a crew and, you know, production team to work with. So the hardest part to learn was how to delegate. It was hard for us to not want to just take the cameras ourselves and still kind of do it ourselves. We had to say, okay, we got cameramen now. We have to light things, and we're like, ugh, God, we gotta light stuff. We gotta do professional sound.
One of the things that defines FX is that all the creators of all of our shows, all of them have a really unique and specific vision for what they want to do. And we try not to water that vision down.
We're so sweet. Where were you when I was in high school?
I was 8.
I think so often in this business, people say they want different and they want new, but they want it done the same old way. So we just took a chance and we said, if we really want something different, if we really want something that's gonna stand out, let's let them do it their way.
Ultimately, what we try to keep in mind is that this is just a glorified home movie. So we should never take it too seriously. Nobody knew Danny besides his work, and we didn't know if he was going to be a crazy person.
I'm a little bit insane.
We didn't know if he was going to be a bastard.
Tantrums, like that.
We didn't know anything. We just said, hey, this is an opportunity to get somebody with a high profile on the show that could really draw in viewers, that could keep us on the air, and let's go for it.
When we heard that Danny wanted to be in the show, or he was interested in being in the show, instead of like the three of us going and sort of overwhelming, we just kind of let Rob do it and use his, you know, West LA restaurant waiter charm.
I can only say things that I know that they are totally dedicated workaholics. They're the kind of people who never let you down. They're the people who write constantly, always thinking of something, you know, that's fun and interesting and exciting.
I think Rob essentially manipulated him into doing the show in some way. Like he used his powers of persuasion.
We need to talk to you about something, Dad.
Shoot.
It's kind of disturbing.
You two aren't banging, are you?
What?
No.
Oh my...
You better not be, because that don't fly.
It's not. Jesus.
I don't want any grandkids. You want to be able to do stuff that's kind of a little off the charts. It's not so, you know, straightforward. And these guys and Caitlin, the four of them are irreverent, kind of fun, crazy mother. They came up with a, you know, very organic. I'm Frank Reynolds. I'm Deandra and Dennis's dad, and like it fit in, and I felt really comfortable in that way.
Molino! Molino!
Oh, bien right. Bien right. People say to me, what are you bringing to the show? And I'm saying, what is the show bringing to me? The show's given me, you know, a character that we're just beginning. It's tick-tock, as Edgar Allan Poe said, 1 second closer to the grave. And you gotta have some fun in life. And boy, these characters are giving me all the fun I would want.
If I had any advice for someone who was going to go out and shoot something themselves, I would say just do it.
Do it yourself. Just make it. Put it out there. If no one likes it, do it again.
For us, we're looking for a comedy that feels different than any comedy on the air anywhere else that's original.
We don't look at it as something that's a one-time only situation. We look at this as something that can absolutely happen again. If you know, we're completely open-minded. If something came across our desk the exact same way, we would make it in a second.
Believe in what you're doing and jump every hurdle and get to the end by any means necessary.
And if it doesn't work out, like, you know when to give up. You know what I mean? Know when it's time to say, you know, because I think there's something to trying it and then trying it again and trying it again. But if it doesn't work every single time, it's time to throw in the towel.
That's bull, man. That's bull. Rob here had been failing for years.
That is true, actually. He failed for like 10 years. 10 straight years.
For a really long time.
You know what? You're right. I'm wrong. I am totally wrong.
You failed so much.
That's true.
That you should have thrown in the towel. And you should have. But you didn't.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't afford a towel.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Premieres Thursday, June 29th at 10, only on FX.